Hello everyone. Today I'm going to make a video on a program called Clonezilla. I was recently asked what kind of program I use to back up hard drives or data from one USB stick to another or from one hard drive to another. And my answer to it was that I use Clonezilla, and this is the program right here. And as you can see, it's free and open source software. And it says for disk imaging or cloning, which is, basically both ways you can go with data backup. Clonezilla is a partition and disk imaging cloning program similar to TrueImage or Norton Ghost. So, it's not a very pretty GUI, graphical interface type of program. It's a text-based, sort of a console-based program, which I'll show you how to use to do a simple just a disk copy. But basically, it copies everything from one drive to another very well and very efficiently. It's got a million different features, and you can Google Clonezilla and go to About here. So, and then you can read all about it. But I'm going to show you how to create this disk on a bootable USB stick. I'm using just a simple, stick like this. Actually, mine's even more simple than this. It's something I bought. I got for free at a trade show. It's a 1 gig USB thumb drive, and it's formatted and empty right at this moment. So I'm assuming you're going to have one of those installed in your machine. So first thing you need to do is go get the program. So go here to Clonezilla, and so Google Clonezilla, and you'll get the Clonezilla webpage and all these options, and then go to Downloads. After you go to Downloads, click on the stable release right here and save it to a folder. Actually, first you got to pick your CPU architecture and your file type. Well, if you don't know what kind of CPU architecture you have, or you're going to use it on multiple machines, choose the basic, and the basic being the i586, which is a 32-bit version of this program. And then you're going to choose an ISO file. Now you want this because it's the most compatible version of this software. It'll run in anything. So after you've done that, just click on Download, and you'll get to SourceForge here, and you have to wait 1 or 2, 3, 4 seconds, and it'll give you the option to download the program. Now I've already done this, but you can do it. Just hit OK. I'm on Firefox, whatever browser you're using. Just make sure you know where you downloaded it to, so hit OK. And my downloads are all going to my download directory. Like I said, I've already done it. It's right there. Just for the sake of speed on this video, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to hit Cancel. As it's about 230 megs, so it'll take a while for it to download. I'm assuming it's fairly lengthy. Next thing you're going to need is a program to create the USB stick, to create it and make it bootable. Now I found that the best program for doing that is a program called Yummy. So go to Google again, and then just type in YUMY, and then you'll get this option, the Yummy Multi-Boot USB Creator. So we're going to click on that. Then you'll get the whole description on what this wonderful program does. But really all you need to do is come over here and download Yummy right there. So click on that, and you get the option to save the file, which we're going to do. Now, so you know, Yummy does not install anything on your computer. It runs by itself. So since I've already downloaded the latest version, you go ahead and put it where you want. I'm putting mine in my download directory, and just for the sake of saving time here, I'm not going to download it again. So once you finish, just keep following up with me. So now we've downloaded the 2 pieces of software we need to create Clonezilla. So first thing we're going to do is go back down to my download directory. And right there is downloads. And Yummy's right here. So we got to create the USB thumb drive or bootable drive. OK or yes, if you get a prompt from your security program like I did. You may not have seen that. Then just go with the defaults here, click Agree. And as you see, it didn't really actually install anything. It just runs by itself. So Then you choose your drop down. I'm assuming you already have your drive installed. And prior to doing this, do yourself a favor and check on your file browser which one your thumb drive is, just to make sure you don't do anything crazy, like put it on your C drive or format something you shouldn't be formatting. Well, here my removable disk drive is removable disk E. So back to the Yummy console, I'm going to hit the drop down here, and it shows the removable drives. It actually figures it out, but just verify you're doing the work on the right drive. You don't want to do something crazy like putting it on your system drive. Okay, so next you click on select distribution to put on E. So we'll click on that. Scroll down till you see system tools right there, and if you look, you'll see there's Clonezilla backup and plus clone tool. So we'll click on that. Then it says, well, now you need to tell me where the ISO is. So we're just going to hit browse. And back to my downloads directory. And it shows you only the file it's looking for, which is right there, the Clonezilla Live ISO that we downloaded earlier. So click on that and hit open. And then click on create. Right? Make sure everything's right. Everything's the way it should be. Mine is. If you wanted to format your E drive, see, there's where you need to be sure what you're doing. So in other words, if you wanted just to blank out your USB key and have it just put this on it, then you can. But I'm just going with the defaults because I already formatted that drive manually. So click create, and it gives you the following summary of what it's going to do. So hit yes. Make sure you read that correctly, and make sure you're dealing with the correct drive. And as I said, it's not a very big program. There's the total size, 161 megabytes. So you don't need a very big drive. I'm just using, like I said, a generic thumb drive that I got at a what do you call it, business expose. So we'll wait for this to finish. And after this is finished, I'm going to boot the computer up using, in my case, because it's an HP, the escape key and then choosing F9. Now, different computers use different boot sequences, and I'll put that in this video as well so that you can go through them if the first one does not work for you. All right, so we've gotten to the next here, so just click on next. The green bar is going all the way to the right. So click next, and then it says, would you like to add more distros to the drive on E? And we're going to say no to that. I may make a different video on how to put multiple distros on one bootable USB key. It's kind of really handy if you want all your tools on one thumb drive. Okay, so here we're going to say no, and it says Yummy has completed the installation. At this point, you hit finish, and it goes away. So we can close this stuff out, and if you look at your file browser, you'll see your E drive now. Let's scroll down to E. Now it says multi-boot E, and it has those two directories in it, and it's basically ready to go. So at this point, we're going to reboot the machine, and I'm going to show you how to use the program. Alright, here we are at the startup screen. This is my HP, and it gives me the option to escape at this point. I've got my USB stick, the generic 1 gig drive that I put Clonezilla on already plugged in. I had it plugged in when I turned it on. So here I'm just going to hit escape, and it's going to give me the startup menu. And as you can see, F9 is the boot device options. Now, like I said, different computers have different menus, so you'll need to figure out how you get to your boot sequence. You may want to just try booting it with the drive in the USB port. It might just actually pick it up and go. So here I'm going to hit F9, and you see all the different options. Number one is the CD-ROM drive or DVD-ROM drive, notebook hard drive, and I'm going for the generic flash disk, which is the 1 gig Clonezilla drive. So I hit enter on that. Then you get the Yummy boot USB and 27-second default at the 30-second default timeout at the bottom. If you hit your down arrow key to make a selection, that turns the timer off. So we're going to go to System Tools, Then down to Clonezilla, so use your cursor down to Clonezilla, hit enter. And now you get another menu with another 30-second timeout, but if you again scroll through the options, it turns that off. And if you go through each option, you'll see the different versions of things that that you have here, options you have here. Clonezilla Live default settings, it's the most generic, friendly configuration for your machine to actually boot. But I'm not going to use that because I want to show you one other one. Basically, when you use the first option, what happens is it boots off your USB key, and it's live off the key. So in other words, all the software is running off the key, which means that you can't take the key out of the machine to do a different, to use the port for some other purpose, or for some other what do you call it, device like a hard drive or whatever. So if you only have one USB port, you're sort of up the creek. Or if you need two and you only have two ports in your machine, then you'll be stuck because there's one of the ports that needs to stay there. So let's get past that. Let's go down to other modes of Clonezilla Live, as you can see there. And here you get higher resolutions, different settings, but the one I'm really interested in is Clonezilla Live to RAM. Boot media can be removed later. What this does is allow you to boot your machine, and after you boot, it'll give you the option to pull out your drive, your USB drive. It'll give you, well actually when I get there, I'll tell you when I pull it out. And basically at that point the machine will be running with all the software from Clonezilla in the RAM, which makes it, number one, faster, number two, frees up all your ports, and number three, reduces the amount of confusion you have with drives. So in other words, you'll only have, in my case, only one drive, the hard drive inside the machine, showing. The rest will be accessible to do whatever I want with. So I'm going to do that, choose that, hit enter and go. Okay, so here we are, we're at the select your language. Well, I'm going to choose English. And then it goes on to the key map, just in case you have a wonky or weird keyboard, like a French one or something. You can change it to that, but I don't, so I'm just going to hit enter. And then you have the option to start Clonezilla or enter the shell. Well, I'm going to choose to start Clonezilla. The shell option is if you're doing a network clone or image from one computer to another computer on the network, that you use the command line prompt to enter the correct commands, and we're not going to go there. We're just going to go to start Clonezilla. Now you have the option to do device to image or device to device. Well, if you want to copy your whatever device it is you're copying to an image file, then you choose the first option. We're not doing that. We're going device to device, and basically it's a straight copy from one drive to another. So I'm going to use the 1 gig USB key to 4 gig USB key. So enter there. Beginner mode is what I'm going to use, which is, for the most part, perfectly fine. And then you have the, again, disk to local disk, or disk to remote disk, or partition to local partition, or partition to remote partition. We're choosing disk to local disk. So here we have two options for your source disk. Well, we have the 1 terabyte Toshiba drive at the top, and I'm not going to copy that because I don't have all day to show you how this works. I'm going to use the source drive, which is the 1 gig flash drive. So as you can see, the computer has automatically detected that that drive is there and it's accessible. Now if I had booted with the first option, that drive would not be accessible because it would be busy running the operating system. So I'm going to plug the second drive into one of my USB ports. And once I see the light on, it stopped flashing, and then I'm going to go OK on this. And it's nice to use a USB key that has an activity light on it. Hit enter here. Okay, and you can see right away that now I can copy to the that 1 gig drive to the terabyte drive, which would erase everything on that drive if I did it. And replace it with what's on this 1 gig drive. So you got to be really careful what your destination is. So make sure that you pick the right target drive every time, and that you're absolutely sure where you're taking data from and where you're moving it to. Fortunately, this program is very descriptive in what it, in the information it shows you about the drives, so you should know which one is which. If you don't know which one is which, do not proceed until you figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to the 4 gig drive, so that's my target drive. So I hit OK here. Then it says you can check it to see if there's any errors on it. Well, I know there's no errors on either one, so I'm just going to skip that. You can interactively go through that if you wish, or use auto. As it says, caution, because auto will choose its own options and do whatever it wants to your file system. So say it chooses to delete something, it's going to do it automatically. You're not going to have the option. So I've already hit enter on that option, and now I get the next time you run this command, you can run this command directly and it shows you what the command is. I'm not going to bother with that because I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to choose my settings and go. Then I'm going to hit enter. And I was telling you exactly, like I said, it's friendly because it's telling you exactly what it's going to do next. I'm going to delete, warning. The existing partition on this hard drive will be overwritten. All existing data will be lost on SDC. And then it tells you what SDC is. The 3927 megabyte data traveler G3 Kingston data traveler. So that's my 4 gig stick that I put in there. So I'm going to say yes to that. Again, warns you again, I'm just saying yes, so I don't have to worry about that. I know I have the right partition. Now the light's blinking on that drive. And it's going ahead with the procedure. Once again, it gives you one more chance. Actually, no, here it's asking you, do you want to clone the bootloader? On this case, I'm going to say yes because I want this to boot, so I'm going to say yes. And you can see that now it's starting to do its job. And it tells you all about what it's doing right there. Quite friendly that way. Alright, now it's syncing. And once it's done doing this, I'm going to reboot the machine and show you how it's working on this Kingston data traveler. It'll be an exact copy of the Clonezilla USB key that I generated in the first place. Okay, if you see there, it says successfully clone a device. Okay, and now it's just basically saying, all right, I've done everything you've asked me to do. You can stay in the console, or you can run the exit or log out. Here I'm just going to hit enter, and it automatically goes back to a mode that you can choose what to do next. I'm going to choose to reboot, but you could rerun it and do another copy if you wished as well here. All right. So I'm just going to go here to reboot, and then it counts down. I'll take that 1 gig drive out, and then I'm going to go and hit escape when the appropriate boot screen comes up. There it is. Okay, so escape, and it says pause startup. Of course, it's going to go to the menu. I could have just hit F9, I know that, but I'm just showing you this again. F9, and we're going to choose the Kingston data traveler, the 4 gig USB drive. And as you can see, it's now going to Yummy multi-boot USB. So it's actually copied that correctly. And there's Clonezilla, and we'll just go into that. And as you can see, it's working exactly as the old 1 gig little drive that I had in there worked before. So at this point, I've shown you how to do a complete copy and how to install a Clonezilla on a USB drive. Now you've got other tools here if you want. You could do a memory test. If you suspect there's something wrong with your memory, I would run this first before you do anything else. And then there's DOS or FreeDOS, and there's the memory test. That's it for my video. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a favor, click on the like button right down here. And if you wish to subscribe to my channel, just click on this link up here. And that should subscribe you to the Richard Lloyd channel, or Richard Lloyd USA channel. Okay? Again, thank you very much for your time and watching.